front us is the third divider, and then the fourth pipe. But each side from the fourth divider, part of the wall, starting with the
पर ये लैंग्वेज वगैरह तो डिकोड कर लिया होगा ना अभी तक
la presa dal collo.
তোমার বাবা কেন ফোন করেছিল আগে?
It with alcohol, 1 to 9. I mean 1 part essence, 9 alcohol.
No entry.
wine, look.
Kecil kasih sebelah kita.
तुम्हारे रंग लगते हैं छाया छाया नहीं है हमारे
Sudah ada sih.
Ashtray, Satyo, thank you. I love my wife. I'm not finished yet. Hello, madam. My grandfather, here the picture. Sheikh Hussein Abdi. With you, not good price for you. Come to me, I make more discount. My name Ali.
final boarding call for flight Egypt Air passengers. Proceed to gate number 10. Thank you and have a nice flight.